I feel the legacy of Reverend Tom Cry when I hear the sound, who extended the network of Sozenji Buddhist temple beyond the community we initially started with, to all kinds of people. And that resonates so much with me, especially as I spent a chunk of my life in Canada, where multiculturalism, respecting each other's cultures, respecting each other's presence as they are, and that's so much speaks to me. And this is a fundamental principle that I feel like really want to commit myself to. And Reverend Kurai really embodied this value. And as a foundation of this, we have this great fortune to be staying connected with the source in Japan, as Reverend Shuyu Kurai kept his connection with our roots. So the theme that I sort of shared with the board members and committee, it's a trunk, and then there's the roots. And if you look up, there's this greeneries, the leaves and branches extending, continuously expanding. And it is my hope that Sozenji Buddhist temple will continue to be somewhere in the middle as a sort of agent, a platform, whatever you sort of call it, a place for people to be able to reach out to the branch and leaves and roots and as a trunk. So that's the idea that I'm forming, and I've shared with Stacy. So now let me offer the prayer so that you can finally start the meal. Please put your hands in 合掌。どうぞ両手をお合わせください。May this humble merit of our offering the ceremonies, our offering the chantings, incense, flowers, offering our presence, our thoughts, our prayers, and good wishes all be extended through our very lives to our loved ones, our families and friends, to all people in the community, to all sentient beings. May we together with all realize the Buddha way. Nam Kie Butsu. Nam Kie Ho. Nam Kie So. ありがとうございます。いただきます。Let me introduce Reverend Gengo Akiba, the current director of Soto Zen Buddhism, Soto Zen Buddhism North America office, which I serve as one of the secretaries. So it is a great honor to have him share his presence with us.
今弁当を渡されてやっと食べられるかなと思ったら行慶さんが来て、一言乾杯の温度を取ってくださいと言うんですけれども、長い乾杯のお話、温度の前に長いお話をしようかなと思っております。
So I was just about to open the lunchbox, and then Reverend Gyoke came and asked for a little word. And I'm prepared to share our very lengthy message before this toast.
まず総禅寺50周年記念を迎えまして、皆さん本当におめでとうございます。
Congratulations on this 50th anniversary of Sozenji Buddhist Temple. I'd like to extend the congratulations to all of you.
今日入り口のところに総禅寺の20周年と倉井先生の新参式の写真が飾ってありまして、で入るときにそれをパッと見たら1991年のその30年前の20周年の写真に若い時の私も写っていたのを見て、そういえば30年前にここでお祝いしたんだなというのを思い出しました。
When I came to this temple this morning, I saw this series of the booklet from the previous anniversary events. And among them was a picture of Reverend Tom Cry's mountain seed ceremony. And also there was a picture of the 20th anniversary. So which happened 30 years ago. And when I look at the picture, I found myself in this picture. And I was reflecting on that days back then.
それから私もずっとこちらに住んだもんですから、総禅寺のことを何かあると訪ねてきて、ずっとこの30年総禅寺の様子を外ながら見てまいりました。
So whenever I had occasion and opportunities, I had a chance to visit Sozenji Temple, and sort of had an honor to observe or watch over how the temple continued to grow or continued. Yes.
大変感慨深いものがあります。今現在、横山行慶先生が総禅寺の責任会教師、国際布教師ということで、お務めいただいております。横山先生は大変優秀な先生でございますから皆さんどうぞ横山先生を育ててください。
So now the current minister, as you can see, is Reverend Yogyoke Yokoyama. As far as I know, he's a very capable minister. So I hope you can continue to 鍛えてください. Well, it says 鍛えてください means please continue to train him well.
メンバーの皆さんに鍛えてやってください。50周年を迎えて本当におめでたいことです。総禅寺もこれから皆さん今までサポートされてきたようにこれからも皆さんメンバーの皆さん総禅寺をどうぞサポートしていただきたいと思います。よろしくお願いいたします。
Anyhow, it's a wonderful occasion. It is my sincere wish that each one of you will, in your own way, continue to support Sozenji Buddhist Temple, and that is my wish. I'd like to conclude with that.
では、総禅寺の50周年を祝い、おめでとうと同時にこれからの総禅寺の未来に向かって乾杯
Soto Zen Buddhism North America office to directly present the certificate to each member. それでは I'll mention the name first. Mrs. Emiko Russell Kurai, could you come step forward? Mrs. Judy Fuji Kurai. Mr. Eric Sororio. And Mrs. Stacy Jasmine Yamato. Thank you very much, Bishop Akiba. And again, once again, congratulations. Please give them another big applause for their contributions.
Good afternoon, everybody. I am Stacy Yamato Jasmine, and growing up at Sozenji, the temple has been a huge part of almost my entire life. So if you do the math, you can kind of figure out how old I am, but that's okay, you don't have to do that now. As it was for my grandparents, my parents, and now my husband. It is for this reason that it's so wonderful that we're able to gather together in person to celebrate Sozenji's 50th anniversary. This slideshow is a chronology of Sozenji's journey from our very humble beginnings in East Los Angeles and Boyle Heights to our permanent location in Montebello, and continues throughout our 5 decades, bringing you to the present with our numerous Dharma connections and navigating our way through COVID. It is dedicated to all of our founding members, donors, and their families, as well as to our members, friends, supporters, and their families. Without all of their hard work, perseverance, generosity, and commitment, overcoming hardships and cherishing accomplishments along the way, we would not be here today honoring Sozenji as a significant religious and cultural center in Montebello. This is definitely a very proud day for all of us. So thank you, and please enjoy.
My name is Reverend Dr. Victor Gabriel. I am here to speak about my, first also to congratulate you on your 50th anniversary and to thank you for inviting me, our dear colleagues, and as a representative of our school. I just want to share some memories I have of Reverend Tom Cry. You know, so this story shows actually the curiosity, the determination, and the innovative ways of his thinking. He didn't make a connection with our school immediately. He noticed that there were some students that were attending the ZCLA, the Zen Center of Los Angeles. From those students, he noticed they all come from one school, the University of the West. And then, so to come to university, so he took himself to University of the West, and he sat at our cafe. He didn't know anybody in the school. He just sat at our cafe. Sitting at the cafe out there, you know, in the pavilion, then he managed to find someone to tell, and then he noted that they all come from a particular department at University of the West, and so that led him to me. Of course, he didn't know who I am, and of course, he didn't have a key card to enter the building, so he sat outside the cafe. He sat outside the cafe until he found someone to point me out. So he sat the cafe maybe 2 or 3 times before he found out who I was and to approach me. And that is how we have had this fruitful connection between the chaplaincy department at Sozenji and Sozenji. So it was not a planned out thing. It really came out of the determination of Reverend Korai. And you can see that is the type of man that he was. I'm so sorry that beautiful connection was cut short, but I'm so happy to see the fruits, the training that our students have achieved, to Yokoyama Sensei, how he has led them and you know, through the various Zen trainings. I'm so proud of them and what they have achieved. I'm also proud of you guys and what you have achieved and the possibility of achieving so much more if we do this together with all the groups. I like this model of the roots, our traditional roots, for in your case, the Japanese roots, the middle of the tree, right? The trunk of the tree, which you all can play, which your board can play, which your board can strengthen, and all the different branches, all the expressions of American Zen or Japanese culture in America. So thank you so much for this and for giving me this chance to speak. Thank you.
My name is Rob, my wife Sharon over there. You might have recognized me from playing taiko. I met Reverend Tom many, many years ago on my quest to learn to play taiko. I'm going to use a term. A big hairy white guy usually is not playing taiko. okay? I learned about taiko at the LA Marathon one year. Went to see a friend run, and we were by a group of young Asian people playing drums, and it just beat in my chest, and I had to learn this. I wanted to know what it was. So I went up and I asked the first one I saw, "Excuse me, can you tell me what type of drums these are?" And he looked at me and he goes, "Taiko?" And I said, "Okay, I understand that. I don't know what it is, but I understand taiko. So do you guys teach?" And he looked me up and down and he said, "We have a certain look. This is not that look," okay? Fast forward 10 years. My wife's brother's in-laws were having their 50th wedding anniversary at the Japanese American Museum. We were invited, and Reverend Tom and Taiko Center of Los Angeles performed. And what was Reverend Tom's signature for little groups like that? Audience participation. Anybody want to learn to play taiko? Come on up here and hit the drum. Well, of course, he brought up the guests of honor, 75-year-old people hitting the drums. And then he said, "Okay, anybody else?" And George and Jean walked over to us, handed us the bachi. You may know them as sticks, but they're bachi, and said, "You guys want to play? Go ahead and play." So we went up there and we played. It was great. You know, first time I ever hit a drum. It was wonderful. Afterwards, I went to Reverend Tom and I said, "Excuse me, I'm interested in learning taiko. Do you teach?" And in Reverend Tom's methodical way, he was putting his bachi away and doing stuff, and he turns and he looks at me and goes, "Yes, I do." So, very good. I said, "Do you teach locally?" Put stuff away. Says, "Well, I teach in Gardena, and I teach at Sozenji Buddhist temple in Montebello." I said, "Okay." I said, "Will you teach me?" And he looks at me and he goes, "Yes, why?" And I said, "Well, do I look okay?" and he looks me up and down, and he goes, "You look fine to me." And I started my career that way. The next week I was at Sozenji Buddhist temple and learning to play in Gardena also. My wife went to Gardena and learned to play there. The whole point of that story is Reverend Tom embraced everyone, no matter who they were, no matter what they looked like. Starting to choke up. And he was a great guy, and we miss him a lot. So I'm sure he's with us today. I felt him. Thank you.
As I said at the beginning, I feel like we're all kind of walking on the path. Reverend Shuyu Kurai, Reverend Tom Shuichi Kurai, both paved for us and for us. And so let his spirits continue to live on. Let their spirits continue to live on. Once again, thank you for sharing your time despite your busy schedule. You know, as I see this something, a lot of things start happening as the restriction of the pandemic started being lifted. So I see each temples having more events, each schools, each of the families having their events. So for that reason, we appreciate your choosing to take your time, sharing your presence with us. Now, as we are about to close the luncheon, I'd like to invite the president of the board of directors of Sozenji Buddhist Temple as, for the words of appreciation on behalf of Sozenji Buddhist Temple. Yes.
Thank you, Yokomawa-sensei. I'm going to share a little bit with you my memories of Shuichi Thomas Kurai. We grew up together at Zenshuji, and when I first met him when we were children, he was very quiet, very withdrawn. And as we grew up together, he kind of blossomed and he became more outgoing, and we often partied together, going out. And it was very surprising to me that he eventually became and decided to follow his father's footsteps into the priesthood. He related to me that he drew inspiration from his father and decided to follow him into the priesthood. He related to me a story when he went to train in Japan that when he approached the monastery, they wouldn't let him in. And so he waited and waited and waited. And 8 hours later, while waiting very patiently outside the gates of the monastery, they finally allowed him inside. I guess that's the proof of his devotion. I have some other remarks, just a moment. On behalf of the Board of Directors, ministers, and members of Sozenji Buddhist Temple, I extend my deepest appreciation for all your attendance here today. It is my sincere hope that you enjoyed yourself as much as we have enjoyed having you here today. You will note at the end page of our booklet is a congratulatory message from Zenshuji Soul Mission. It also includes a message to save the date, May 27th, 2023, for the 100th anniversary banquet. This celebration commemorates 100 years of Soto Zen in North America, of which Sozenji has its roots. I hope that we may meet again on that occasion to celebrate our founding of our faith in North America. At this time, Reverend Yokoyama would like to say a few words of appreciation.
Thank you very much, David. Now, this concludes the luncheon, the 50th anniversary, a luncheon for Sozenji Buddhist Temple. Once again, thank you for sharing your precious presence with us. And I hope to see you more often at the temple or the events. We're trying to bring more energy back into the temple, and I need each one of your participation. So I look forward to working with you, getting to know you more, and if you have any great ideas or just suggestions, please feel free to bring this diverse views, which I feel that Sozenji Temple is always open to be kind of connected. So, thank you very much. ありがとうございました。